Hey, yo, what's up, Cowboy Nation, Cowboy Headquarters, and America team? I've been a little loud. It's your guy G, the number one Cowboy fan, have to come into you live, direct, and correct with some more news. That's right, I said some more news that you can use. And here we are on Monday Night Mic'd Up. Let's give it up. Yee! All right, man. Yeah, man, listen, I got to talk about it. And and I know everybody else has probably been discussing it a little bit, but I got to talk about it. But before I get started, I got to say, give a big shout out to everybody that's following this channel, all our subscribers and all our followers. And we have some new subscribers, and we are 3 subscribers away from hitting 1,300. Give it up. Yeah, man. So y'all find somebody. Say, hey, man, y'all go ahead and go to the Cowboy Huddle podcast and just hit subscribe, man. They give out some good content, man, and they try to keep you up with the latest that's going on with our Cowboys, and it's coming from a diehard Cowboy fan that's been around a long while. So yeah, big shout out to everybody, man. I don't want to stay on here long, but this is a Monday Night Mic'd Up, and you see the title. How much trust do we give Mike McCarthy? And we're going to talk about that. But let's get right on into what I really wanted to talk about tonight. So it seems already that the Dallas Cowboys are in for a busy off season with 13 players set to become free agent, and the franchise tag sits at $4 million over the salary cap. It also says that Cowboys can't afford to resign all of their free agents, and that's true. And out of those free agents, I do want to talk about this one individual, Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith, and some people are saying, man, we need to keep Tyron Smith and, bring him back for another year. And some people say it's time to move on. And we all have mixed emotions, and we all have different opinions about the 33-year-old. So it says the 33-year-old veteran blocker is unlikely to return to Dallas for a 14th season after it looks like the two sides were making progress. So, all things must come to an end. But that doesn't mean losing Smith will hurt any less. Wait a minute. Woo! So, then one of the free agents that's being reported that will not return will be Tyron Smith. Now, let me say this about Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith was definitely a great asset to the team. Tyron Smith did his job. He kept Dak upright. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think he blocked for Tony Romo, if I'm not mistaken. I think so. But again, 13 years, almost 14 years on one team is a long time, man. And I know what some people are saying. Some people are saying maybe, how can you give up on Tyron Smith? He's a Hall of Famer, and that he is. He is a Hall of Famer, and I would not take that from him. But sometimes you can keep a player around a little bit too long to where it becomes a liability than a asset. That's what I said. And I say that to say this because we know that Tyron Smith had some issues this probably the past 5 years that we haven't got a full season out of Tyron Smith. But that's over a 13-year tenure, okay? So that's a long time. So again, it's a lot of wear and tear on the body. 13 or 14 years is a long time in the league. That's a lot of playing time. That's a lot of money. And a little information about Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith had a great season last season, and that was due to the fact that they actually had Tyron on, and I keep saying Tyron Smith. I don't know why do I always say the whole name. Tyron Smith. Tyron. Let's just say Tyron. Tyron is the name. I did that on the other video. I did Michael Paulson. But anyway, Tyron had a special setup, okay, this last season. This special setup consisted of him being a part of the Hall of Fame practice squad. The Hall of Fame practice squad? What are you talking about, G? Well, what I'm talking about is this is the schedule that Tyron was a part of. And what that consisted of was Tyron came to practice, but he didn't practice with the rest of the team. Tyron showed up to practice, do his stretches, do his drills, and work on his technique. And then he showed up to the game. Yeah. That's what the Hall of Fame practice squad was about. He was a Hall of Famer, getting Hall of Famer benefit. But he played well. So now when we consider that, we have to say to ourselves, well, Jerry Jones has a legitimate gripe. They have a legitimate gripe. We have an individual that has did well for us, but now he's at the stage that of last 5 or 6 years, he's been injured. He's been getting less games out of him. Now he's on a Hall of Fame practice schedule. So you got to ask the question, do we want to pay a player that basically can't practice every day, can't give you 17 games, and more than likely is going to probably have to sit out of several games throughout the season? So that's a legitimate gripe, folks. He's been the stud that roamed the stable for so long. But you know what they do to studs after they have reached the max? No, they don't do that. They send them out to the pasture, okay? They send them out to the pasture. You guys, I tell you, no, it's terrible. But no, they send him out to the pasture, and this is where I believe Tyron Smith is. Some of the greatest, and I don't want to make this analogy, but it is the truth. Some of the greatest horses out there are the ones that roams the pasture, because the history and the legacy that they left. And that's where we are with Tyron Smith. He's a legend. And he's left a legacy with the Dallas Cowboys. But Jerry Jones have to draw the line. He has 12 other free agents that he have to look into. Do we pay? Now, let me say this. Get into this. So what this means is, if we don't sign Tyron, doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. This actually gives the Cowboys more opportunity. And you saying, what do you mean, Gary? What do you mean get more opportunity? Well, let me explain. I'm glad you asked. Because at the 24th pick, this is one of the options that could take place. At the 24th pick, and way it's been predicted is that Tyler Guyton, 6'7", 303 pounds or something like that, big old, huge, humongous guy, about the same size or a little bit bigger than Tyler Smith, will probably fall into our lap at the 24th pick. And if not that, there's another individual, I think from Georgia, Mims. He's another big guy that we could bring in. So what that means is we could either go that route and draft us a offensive tackle, a young offensive tackle. We seen what Tyler Smith done. He came in and did well. Tyler Guyton, I think he's another one that would come in and do well. And if he's not there, so say for instance he's not there. So what if we go this route? Here's the option number 2. We draft the center. We get the center out of Oregon. Powers. I can't remember his John Kelly Powers. I think that's the name. We go get him as a center. Now watch this. And we have the opportunity to, maybe it's possible, you bring in TJ Bass to play the left guard, and you slide Tyler Smith to the tackle. We have leverage, people. So, this could be the case. Or we might bring Awesome Richards. Awesome Richards might come in and play the tackle position, might slide to the guard. So there's so much to do if we do not re-sign Tyron Smith. Now, you probably say, well, somebody else is going to pick him up. Well, maybe so. But they'll find out the same thing we found out about Tyron Smith. Great guy. Great player. But if you're willing to pay a player that can't really practice all throughout the season and can only show up for Sunday games and may get you 8-9 games out the season, well, you pay the guy. But I believe Jerry is not the one that's going to go that route. Now, and I can truly understand why he's at that point to where we just can't do it. We got 13 other guys. And sometimes you got to just say so long, man. It was nice having you, and we appreciate your business. So yeah, so let's give it up for Tyron Smith, man. He is an individual that he will definitely be remembered with the Dallas Cowboys organization. Now, this is the last topic I got, and then you saw the title. How much trust do we give Mike McCarthy? I'm still bitter. See, that's what I like about Michael Paulson. Mike is still upset. He's still bitter like we are. Say what you want, but yeah, he's still bitter. Wasn't it Mike McCarthy that said, I want to run the damn ball? Wait a minute. Yeah, give him a kiss because he definitely need one. This is the same coach that said that I want to run the damn ball. And I'm going to not stay on this here long, but I want to understand something. Let me show you something. If this guy wanted to run the damn ball, as an analyst that he says he has on the coach's staff, an analytical coach or whatever, analytical individual that analyzes the game, and then you got Brian Schottenheimer sitting on the sideline with you, and then you have a big binder of a playbook, but you guys didn't pick this up. But you want to run the damn ball. But I'm going to show you, and this is one of the reasons that Tony Pollard would not be returning. I'm sorry. I don't, maybe it's his fault. Maybe it's Mike McCarthy's fault, but they dropped the ball on this one. So I looked at it. I put this research on Tony Pollard in the big games. And I went and did a look at his stats. And it's very, very surprising. And I was one that didn't think that Tony was one that could carry the load. I knew he wasn't the one. He wasn't that guy. But for whatever reason, they thought they wanted to, use Tony Pollard as their primary running back. My gosh, what the crap. So when I was looking at, so we know that Tony Pollard finished with 1,005 yards. He squeaked out 1,000 yards for the season. But here's something interesting to me in the big game, when we need our running game most. Week 5, Tony ran for 29 yards on 8 carries against San Francisco in the 42-10 loss. Yeah. 29 yards on 8 carries in the 42-10 loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Week 8, Tony ran for 51 yards on 12 carries against the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. 12 carries against the Eagles. 51 yards. Let's go to week 14. Tony was limited to 52 yards on 11 carries against Buffalo in the 31-10 slaughter. Got one more. Week 15. Tony finished with 38 yards, 12 carries in the 22-20 loss to the Dolphins. Mike McCarthy, Brian Schottenheimer. What happened? What the crap happened? If you are an analyst or you have an analytical coach on the sideline, what happened? Did not know that, okay, at halftime say, hey man, listen, this guy only got 29 yards running. Hey, let's feed him the ball a little bit more. Now, and again, I said I said that he was one that he just wasn't a every down back. He wasn't. I mean, I think he was more. We should have ran more screens with Tony. I think we should have did a little bit more bubble passes or things like that with and run him off tackle. But he wasn't built to run through the middle. But again, this is what I wanted to say. How much trust do we give Mike McCarthy when Mike McCarthy failed us in the run game and did not make any adjustments? but you telling us you know how to win. I beg to differ, my brother. And let me say this, Mike McCarthy. I was one that basically rooted for you when you was a candidate for the head coaching job. I kid you not. I was one of the first to say we need to bring in Mike McCarthy. He would be a great fit, in which he has. 12-5 is great, but damn it, I'm 50 plus. I know what it was like in the 90s. I know what it was like in the 70s, the Super Bowl. See, I witnessed that. So my expectations are really, really high, but my patience are running really, really thin. Okay? So that's about where I am. So let me analyze this thing for you. Looking at things like this and carries like this, it takes me back. I'm going to go back to the 70s. Tony Dorsett. Tony Dorsett had who? Robert Newhouse, lead blocking. Yeah. Tony Dorsett had Robert Newhouse lead blocking for him. Because Tony Dorsett wasn't the biggest guy. Now, you can call it old school football, but let's move on to the 90s. Emmitt Smith who had who? Yeah. Daryl Moose Johnston. Yeah. And Emmitt wasn't the fastest guy, but with Moose Johnston in front of him lead blocking made Emmitt the running back that he became. Mike McCarthy. We decided to release Zeke. Zeke did his thing until you wanted to split time with Zeke, and it killed Zeke. Zeke was a primary back. You wouldn't. Emmitt already said it's no way he could have split time as the primary running back. Split time. I'm the primary running back, and I always say there's two positions that you cannot split time as your quarterback and your running back. You can't do it. Say what you want, but you can if you bring a bunch of cheap, budget running backs in. Yeah, I got 4 running backs I got for $5 million each. Yeah, you can do it. Tony Pollard, and this is where my trust runs thin with Mike McCarthy. You got a fullback in Hunter Lupke that you fail to implement into your offense for Tony Pollard. Yeah. Hunter Lupke fumbled the ball one time, and you totally threw the playbook out of the play sheet out of the playbook. It was obvious that Tony needed a lead blocker, and we had a lead blocker for Tony, and we failed to use our lead blocker for Tony Pollard. I know how to win. I want to run the damn ball. But doesn't seem like that was the case. But anyway, again, this is the question we got to ask. We're running it back. Now, he said last year when we got rid of Kennemore, I want to run the damn ball. That's what he didn't do. Now he said, I know how to win. Say, Mike McCarthy, you're on the clock, brother. So, put up or shut up. So, that's all I got for you guys tonight, man. I thank y'all for stopping through tonight, man. But I just want to share with you guys what was going on in the latest rumors and updates that's going on out there. But do me a favor, make sure you hit the like button and make sure you hit the subscribe button, and also make sure you hit the notification bell so you will be notified when the next video is posted. But anyway, so thank y'all once again, and again, y'all stay blessed and continue to stay up. It's your guy, G, the #1 Cowboy fan. Deuces.